So much, everyone. Let's get to it tonight. If you are in Abuja, you perhaps will have seen a lot of the People's Democratic Party leaders converge on the city. Now, the caucuses have been meeting, and we understand now that the NEC meeting and the BOT meeting is also, I don't know which one is on the way right now, but the leaders of the party are effectively having their consultations ahead of the party primaries, which we understand will happen in a couple of weeks. There have been some deliberations on issues of rotation and power shift and all of that. Let me allow you to take a listen to one of, we'll get to listen to some of the leaders in a short while. But one thing that is very important to note is the fact that the PDP might be having some kind of headache. And it's going to be about the issue of zoning and rotation. Where should the presidential candidate of the party come from in 2023? Let's get to it and put some insight into the matter. I'm being joined tonight by two members of the PDP, Austin Okai and Ilemono Onoja. Ilemono is a lawyer also. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let me give some analysts have predicted that it will probably be the biggest nightmare that your party has seen in over 20 years, trying to decide where the candidate of the party should come from in terms of zoning and rotation. Do you think that it's going to be difficult?
Well, while I foresee some difficulty, I also think that it should be easy. As a political party, that by the time we get to the 2023 elections next year, you'd have been out of power, out of office for 8 years at the center. By the time the primaries are conducted, according to the INEC timetable, in May or thereabouts, between April and June, you'd have been out of power for roughly about 7 years. You should be paying heed to what your best foot is. Doesn't matter where that foot comes from.
Really?
Really, right now, out of power, what you should be considering, to my mind, is who is our best candidate, who can not only help us win an election, but who has shown the capacity, content, and character required to adequately govern this country and pull us back from the brink where we currently are. Those are what the primary considerations should be.
Because I imagine that in some of the considerations that always come up is, one, the issue of zoning. That it comes paramount. All of the political parties are discussing it.
All of the political parties are
zoning and rotation, but which is in the heart of what, if you hear what Atiku Abubakar said yesterday, for example, he said the leaders of the party should ignore where the candidate come from, that they should give him another chance.
While I hear the message, but what disturbs many young members of the party like myself, many younger members of the party like myself, and maybe I don't know if it disturbs Austin, is we haven't heard many people preach a message of unity with respect to how to reunite the party and focus on how to reunite the country. We run a very divided country at the moment. No thanks to the failures of the Buhari administration. What I think this should be about, and it's a bit disappointing that that's not the primary focus of our conversation. What I think that this should be about is who can lead this country adequately? Who has capacity, content, character? Whose plans or set of plans bode well for the party and for the country? I think that's what the fundamental focus should be. It's a little disappointing that we're having this same age-old conversation about, not that we're having the conversation, and don't get me wrong, I don't think that zoning should be completely taken off the table. What I reckon is that what should be at the forefront of your conversation: capacity, content, character, ability. Focus on that. Nigeria faces its most difficult existential crisis since the Civil War. We've got a war on terror in the northeast. You've got a war on terror in the northwest. You've got an armed militia invading farms and villages in the north central. You've got two agitations for separation and self-actualization, one in the southeast, one in the southwest. And then you have record unemployment, inflation at crazy levels, food inflation at crazy levels, youth unemployment. I'm sorry, in the face of all that Nigeria is currently facing, I reckon that we should be talking about a little, what we should be talking about should be fundamentally different.
Austin, do you agree?
To some extent, definitely I agree with him. I agree with him completely. And I think, as I used to say, we must be very careful at this time, I mean the PDP leaderships, on these issues of joining. We should think that whoever emerges automatically, because APC is having problem today, will win the comes 2023. We must avoid that mistake. Secondly, just as Lemonade just said, we are hungry for victory comes 2023. And our target should be, how do we win the coming 2023 presidential election? Any other calculation outside that, we are on our way to do ourselves a very disservices. Thirdly, what of the country that is facing separation? There are so many secessionist agitation across southeast, southwest, and other parts of the country. Who have the capacity to unite the nation? Nigeria as a federated unit must not be seen disintegrated. And PDP for 60 years has managed to keep the country together. And now that after leaving power for some years, we are in the hands of APC. The Southeast want to go, the Southwest want to go. The onus of uniting
Apologies, I would like to cut you just for a moment. Breaking news coming right here on Channels Television. We can tell you authoritatively that President Muhammadu Buhari has met with Governor Buni in London today. Earlier today, both of them had a meeting where the president had given instructions, and some of these instructions are as follows: that Governor Buni should immediately take out over the affairs of the APC caretaker committee. Breaking news coming right here. Governor Buni has met with President Muhammadu Buhari in London, and the president has since given an instruction that he should take over the aim of affairs of the people APC caretaker committee. The president also instructed that the caretaker committee should return, the leadership that is, should return to status quo ante, and also instructed Governor Buni to continue with the preparations of the convention, and should happen on the 26th of March 2022. Breaking news right here, we're following for you that President Muhammadu Buhari has met with Governor Buni in London. The meeting has come out that the governor should go ahead with the plans to conduct the APC convention slated for the 26th of March. More details we'll be bringing to you right here on the program. Images are also emerging of both of them appearing in London together, and we're also hearing and seeing letters emerging that have been written from the president to the chairman of the APC Governors Forum. So much is coming. We get some reactions for you right here on the program. Stay with me, everyone. I told you so much to talk about. Let's continue with the PDP matter. We'll come back to the meeting of President Buhari and Buni in a short while. Let me allow you to land on that thought. So if your party, what would be too dangerous for your party to do right now? If it's zones to the north or zone to the south, what would be the most dangerous one?
It's not the issue. I don't think we should even revisit the issue of zoning. If we must be sincere to ourselves.
Your party should cancel.
What happened in last election, 2019 general election? Did we win? And because we failed that, we should have turned the zoning arrangement of the party? I'm very much aware that the current president of APC is from the north. But that is APC arrangement. Should we jettison PDP arrangement because the APC has done 8 years from the north? And just as I said earlier before, the most important thing for us at this time is to unite this country and rescue the nation from what we are facing currently. And in doing that, we must be very careful. Not that whoever emerges under the other PDP will automatically win come 2023. That will be a costly mistake on our own side. That would be a costly mistake on our own side.
Would that not be hypocritical of your party, which in the first place was one who embodied the concept of zoning? I mean, it's in a convention standard in your party.
We haven't uttered the zoning.
But you are saying that your party should not even look at it right
because
now.
It's already existing. The last presidential candidate who was not declared a winner of the election, where is he coming from?
You are the presidential candidate from the north.
Yes.
Atiku Abubakar the last time.
Is it the president?
Do you think that the party should maintain that?
Is it the current president? He's from the north.
I would.
He's from the north. The North Central is there. The Northeast is there. These two zones has never tested presidency. Likewise to the Southeast. The South-South has tested. The Southwest has tested under the same People's Democratic Party. Are we nullifying that pre-existing history of the political practices or the norms of the party? What are we saying about?
Let me allow you.
I would think that if we're going to be circumspect and we're going to subject this to some sort of analytical scrutiny, right? We have to now narrow this thing down. In the history of our political party, two zones have never produced presidential candidates. Two zones. The Southeast and the North Central.
The Northeast, I'm not sure Northeast has produced one.
It has produced the presidential candidate. Atiku Abubakar is from the Northeast.
But not produced the president.
Northeast, I'm going somewhere. One zone has never produced a vice presidential candidate or a presidential candidate on the platform of our party, the North Central. Remember that the essence of the zoning principle from the beginning was to sort of even out structural imbalances that we had in our social politics in 1999. So even if we're sticking to that and we're shouting justice and equity, you cannot remove the North Central from that conversation. You cannot simply remove the North Central because the North Central, you cannot remove the North Central or the Southeast. But then again, you have to give primary consideration to the North Central, that it has never produced a vice presidential candidate, it has never produced a presidential candidate on the platform of the party. But we don't want to have that conversation. I'd rather not. I'd rather not have that conversation because it's an old conversation. It's a conversation that focuses on who we are, where we are from, what God we worship, what language we speak, rather than what the core fundamentals are. Core fundamentals at this time being, how do we put our young people to work? How do we protect our old and elderly? How do we give them health care? How do we educate our children? How do we make our jobs and how do we make our industries and our companies productive again? How do we make our farms productive? How do we safeguard our country? These are what the core and most fundamental issues are. This is what they should be. Right. Now, I'm saying that...
Just give me a moment, because we need to go back to our breaking news that we are following right here on the program. That President Muhammadu Buhari has met with Governor Buni earlier today in London. Pictures have also emerged of both of them having a meeting. And what's coming from the presidency is the president has given an instruction on the way to go for the party. The president has instructed that Governor Buni should immediately take over the arm of affairs of the caretaker committee, and it should immediately execute all the plans to conduct the March 26th convention of the people of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Let's get some insight into what this means and the implication for the APC. I'm being joined from France by a lawyer and a member of the APC, Daniel Bwala. Thank you so much, Mr. Bwala, for joining us. Give us an insight on what this means for your party. Breaking news coming in says that the president has met with Governor Buni. This is an opposite of the instruction that we understand that the president has given before now, that Governor Bello should take over. What do you think is happening, really?
Having me, I do not even think from the beginning that the president had asked that Governor Buni be removed, because I have always known the president as someone who keeps to the rule of law and he obeys the due process of law. And the president must have known that the removal of the national chairman is statutorily provided for. Is provided.
So, can you controvert? Hello? Can you hear me? It seems we are having some problems with the connection there. We can also see that there's a letter that has been transmitted, now leaked, and we can now see that there's a letter written from the president to the chairman of the APC Governors Forum. The details of that we might be able to touch on the program right here. But the fulcrum of the story and the news reporting right now is that there seems to be a change of direction in the way and manner President Buhari wanted things to go, from asking Governor Bello to be the acting chairman of the caretaker committee. Now has since changed his mind and now instructed Governor Buni to be in charge. So details of how the president perceived the situation in the party is captured in that letter that you can see right there on your screen. And a photo of the president and Governor Buni is emerged that he took in London after their meeting. All right, if we're able to get back Daniel Bwala, we will be asking him more questions as he understands some of the internal workings of his party. But let's come back and talk about their sister party, the opposition, the People's Democratic Party.
Opposition, not...
Yeah, you're opposition. But your sister party,
No.
in every sense of it, because look, most of you were in APC before.
No,
and
never.
before you switched.
Never.
Some were in PDP before joining.
Never.
And most people in APC have been in PDP before now. So the bottom line is,
Go ahead.
it does look like politicians change the goalposts at every point in time when it doesn't favor. Now, when we wonder that, why are PDP members talking like this? You were the one who set the standard. It's as if you said, look, a game of football will be 90 minutes. And when it was not going your way, you said, it's going to be 120 minutes. That is exactly what it looks like from what both of you are talking about tonight.
Can I?
Please go ahead.
Let's use your analogy of football. Game of football, 90 minutes, right? One party has to win. You don't win in a competition, finals. You don't win. Automatically, the rules of the game change for you and extend it. It's not you that changes the rules of the game. The rules of the game change. Let me tell you something. It's called a power-sharing arrangement. You share power when you have power. You don't have it. What are you sharing? The primary focus of an opposition party should be, how do we win elections? Which candidates best for us embody the ability or the possibility of winning an election? That's the conversation you should be having.
That is it.
From a political party point of view, from a governance point of view, you should now be interrogating which of these candidates displays competence, character, a track record of proven success, right? So that we can present these candidates to the Nigerian people. Where you should be now, I have a bias for a particular candidate, and my biases are very clear. And my biases are born out of a track record. Over the last year or 2 years, we've had a badly fragmented party. What you should be talking about is, how do we pull our party together? How do we pull the constituent parts of our party back together? So we form one whole cohesive functional unit, then we can go into an election. Because let me tell you what, you choose a candidate from the north, you choose a candidate from the south. If you do not go into the elections with a cohesive political unit, you lose the election.
All right, so let me quickly get back to our breaking news. I understand that Daniel is back with us. So give us an insight on, you said that you don't think that the president, in fact, said he's in the ab initio. But look, we heard from a governor who said, this is what happened. And we saw being acted out that the governor, that it was said to take over as acting chairman, took over effectively. If the president hadn't said that, would that have happened?
He could not have said that Buni should be sacked. The president's word could have been that in the absence of Buni, get somebody to run the affairs of the party, depending on when Governor Buni will be back. And individuals who wanted Buni in the first place made the conclusion that the president asked that Buni be sacked. The president came to become president through a due process of law. And the constitution of APC is what governs the activities of the APC. The provision of the constitution of APC regarding the removal or sack of a national officer is quite clear and unambiguous. And so the president could not have said that. And this again brings to fore the issue of the president said, which in my view, the president will have to look into it, because the stock in trade of politicians as elections come close by is to quote the president. And I'm sure, because shortly after it was said that the president sacked the national chairman, you heard that the president denied ever sacking the national chairman. So the idea of indirect word, you see, there is hearsay. Hearsay is not admissible in law because it is not a word that the national chairman heard directly from the president. In any case, that is behind us. The most important thing now is that the president has heeded to the voice of wisdom and has saved the party for what would have been a cataclysmic effect had the party proceeded without Mai Mala Buni as the national chairman. Because if he was removed, the procedure
Mr. Boala, what is the implication of this directive? Because in the letter now that has emerged, it's shown that the president copied the SGF, copied the director of DSS, copied the inspector general of police, copied the chairman. The letter was actually written to the chairman of the APC governors forum. It means that every strata of the party and security agencies in the country are now copied in all of this. So those who are against Buni or whatever has happened in the party, what is the implication of this new twist for the APC?
The implication is that any officer of the government of the federation that dares to violate the order of the president risks the chance of his job, and in fact might face the wrath of law, because at a critical time like that, any attempt to unseat Buni or to create chaos is a threat to national security. Regarding the governors forum and some of the officers of our party, at least all the warring factions would have known that the position of the national leader is that Governor Mai Mala Buni, who has been appointed by the next, should pilot the affairs of the party. And I like this approach because now the president has made it clear and unequivocal. Nobody can come behind him, beside him, underneath him to say the president said or the president did not say, because there is a document that is a prima facie proof that the president's desire and president's order is that the party be run in accordance with the law.
Daniel, thank you so much for talking to us tonight. It's a pleasure to have you speak with us, even on a short notice, because of the breaking news that we are following. Thank you so much. I'll allow you to go back to your activities. Thank you so much indeed for your time. The breaking news is that President Muhammadu Buhari has met with Governor Mai Mala Buni and has asked him to return as the caretaker chairman of the APC. The picture of President Buhari and Mai Mala Buni has emerged, and a letter also emerged that the president instructing specifically on how he wants things to go. Since also there is a statement coming from the president's office to this to the effect of all of this. So let's conclude our conversation. Let's wrap up in another 60 seconds so that we can go on break and turn into economic matters. Austin, I'll allow you to wrap up for us. For your party, these meetings that we're having today, some people are saying there might be some fisticuffs in that meeting today because there are a lot of divisions already. What do you think will happen after today's meeting?
Politics is a game of interest. It's not a regimented environment. Exactly. Everybody comes there with their own interest, and such argument is expected. But the most important thing, the one thing unique about PDP is that we always come together.
We come back together.
We don't need any president to intervene like APC. We don't need any foreign letter from London to rescue the party. We have the internal mechanism of what to do, how to do, and when to do it.
I need to appreciate both of you. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. We're monitoring for you the PDP meeting. There's been strategies of meeting today alone. So much meeting, so many things to unpack for you. But stay with me, everyone. If you're not able to buy petrol, there is a reason for it. If you don't have electricity in your house, the minister is explaining. The inflation figure has gone from 15.60 to 15.70 just from January to February. Incremental changes in a lot of things. We'll break this down for you. What does the economy under the Buhari administration, what does this mean for Nigeria? The changes that we have seen, so much to talk about. If you are interested in those things and the problem and solution, stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back.